Evening, darlings. Today we're 3-3. 3-3, front to back is an 8. 3-3, 3rd of March. So we're coming into the 3rd of March. Then we got the 6th of March, 36th. Then the 9th of March, 369. 11th, 311 is the day that the sun moves into Pisces. It's the Fukushima date. And this caught my eye today. This is where I used to live again. It's in Hermonville. It's a tiny, weeny little forest between Paris and Compiègne in l'Oise. So Loire is a play on the I. The I. Let's see if we can open a map. Hermonville. We're going to have a look at what was going on in the sky on that day. Okay, let's have a look at a map. Hermonville. And I used to go and play here with my son, and we used to run. They have the incredible stones in the forest. And we used to, when Louis was a little child, I would take him and he would laugh and laugh. We would just jump from stone to stone. Quite an incredible forest. So this is the worst ever in history plane crash that happened 50 years ago today. So Hermonville map. We got a lot to get into today, and we're going to get into Einsteinium Pale Stien. Stein means stone in German. Einstein, a stone. We're at the philosopher's stone. This is really the moment where is Scorpio, Ra, Aries ruled by Mars, and L. We've got the lamp, we've got the lamb, we've got Mercury, the child, Sun, and Saturn conjunct. In Aquarius, the air. And we're about to move into the home of Pisces, Jupiter's home. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So map, Google Maps, Hermonville. Why can't I just have a look at a map? Up. Okay, so here you've got Loire. Wa is a goose, and it's an I. L'Oise. So you've got between l'Oise and l'Aisne. So the department next to that is N, like where I live, Aignan. So here's Paris, airport. Then this is where I used to live, between these three big forests. You've got, I lived here. There's the Pierre, the stone, Pierre Font, the famous chateau where they filmed Merlin and Arthur. And the tobacco burnt down this summer at the same time as the corner house where I live in Lupiac was burnt down. So this is the big castle in Pierrefonds, which Michael Jackson wanted to buy. And this is where I lived for 24 years. There's the big castle. This is the stone. This is the stone in your skull. It's the third eye. It's your thalamus. So I'll come back. So there's Pierrefonds. There's the three forests. So I lived in Mary in the Valley. So from our house I could get into these forests, and that's what I did. I looked after 8 horses, 4 dogs, run the big house, and I would lead a horse on each hand, and I would go around the forest with my 4 dogs. I knew the forest off by heart. So you got all these incredible forests. There's Villers-Cotterêts, where the Amy Winehouse girl was killed. Eliza Pilasky. Eliza Pilasky, there she is, Amy Winehouse. So Eliza Pilasky, Villers Esoteric. So that's VC, virus, corona, always the same thing. Coronavirus, Cupid, Valentine, CVVC. So where's the BBC story? Death girl. If I put in English, it will come up in English. So BBC, pregnant woman killed by dogs in the hunt in Villers-Cotterêts. So this is next to where the armistice. She was 29 years old. Villers-Cotterêts, VC. We're going to come to Einstein, Palestine, and we really are in the build-up now to that genie in the lamp, the lamb, the alchemical. This moment of ALGOL for the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus coming up in Aries before they move into Taurus. So that's Mars and Venus rules Aries and Taurus, and Libra and Scorpio opposite. Mars and Venus are conjunct. They're moving apart now, but we've had them absolutely conjunct in Capricorn. So, okay, so this is the northeast of Paris, and I now live in the southwest, in that absolute line of what the eclipse is going to be through Paris from. So this is the journey. You go from D'Artagnan's journey from German Maastricht through Maastricht all the way down to where I am now, down here. So this is the angle across France, which is being imitated as for the great eclipse. And so let's see. 50 years ago, the Air Mononville crash, the deadliest air disaster in French history, on March the 3rd, 1974, at 12:32 p.m. of the Turkish Airlines flight 981 took off from Orly, Val-de-Marne, bound for London Heathrow, England. 8 minutes later, the aircraft disappeared from the radar screens. So I wondered, this isn't the plane crash that when I was a child that my mother lost her models. Could it be that she always spoke to me? There will be no survivors among the 346 people on board, 11 crew members, supporters of the England rugby team who played the day before against France in the Five Nations tournament, or around 50 of Japanese bankers. So let's have a look. 1974 at 12:32 p.m. 1974 at 12:32 p.m. So we had Mercury and Jupiter conjunct in the home of Saturn. So today we've got Saturn with Mercury in the Sun, but then we had Jupiter, not Saturn. Venus in Capricorn, as she is now. So the moon was in Gemini, was on Gemini. Saturn was on the wand of Merlin. Okay, Saturn was on the wand of Merlin. 74, yeah, he was there also for another big thing, another big event. I've noticed he was on the wand of Merlin. Okay, so that's an exact opposite going on. And we had Mars, of course, in Taurus, as for the Queen's death, as for Notre Dame falling, as for the floods in New Zealand that I was in, as for the death of my dog Happy. I wonder if Mars was retrograde. Okay, well, doesn't look like, well, Mercury was retrograde. Mercury was retrograde. Okay, and where was Pluto? Was in Virgo. Neptune then was right on Antares, where the moon is today. so the moon was right here, and we're going to have a conjunction with the moon and Neptune and Mercury coming up in the dates I'm going to cover today, the next 2 weeks. We're going to have an important conjunction of Mercury and the moon here coming up. So that's quite telling that today we've got the moon on Antares, and 50 years later we had Neptune right on Antares. So Neptune was making a square to Mercury and Jupiter, and now we're going to have a conjunction, and Jupiter rules. So Mars, the ruler, was opposite. So Mars was opposite Neptune, and the moon was right in the middle of the pillars. Like for the death of my son-in-law's brother, he died when the sun was right there between the J and B pillars. So Jupiter and Mercury in the home of the true Saturn, Mercury and Jupiter, and in between the pillars, the moon. So the sun was right here at the death, the day that the 2 boys died in 1 year. So for me, that is just the end of Gemini, and now the summer solstice is on the wand of Merlin as Saturn is there. And whether that be conscious or not conscious, but I see that it's the same story as Pollux and Castor. My son-in-law took his life to join his brother. They were both, his brother was one of the happiest, lovely men. It's really quite extreme. And 1 week before he died, the BBC phoned me to ask me about the death of my mother's model, Bambi, who was killed by her brother JB, Jeremy Bamber, 5 of them in the White House, which is of course the home of Juliet Cameron, who adopted my slave Irish Mary Ryan, who is now in the National Portrait Gallery as the 5-pointed star. And Bambi was killed with her 2 boys and her parents by her brother, and that was the name, the initials JB of my son-in-law's brother, Jeremy Brown. And the BBC phoned me 1 week before. So that moon between the JB pillars is pretty enormous. So this air crash, it's always about, Jupiter has no wings. He's the diving duck. He's got no wings. He's only got a whale's tail, and that's where we've got the moon and Neptune that will be meeting. If you add 3, 4, 6 together, you're going to get 13, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yep, 13, obviously, to bring up the 13th sign. Ophiuchus in that gap, opposite Saturn, Orion, and opposite we've got this 13th sign here. So that was 3. Oh, we've got a 6 going on. We want a 3. Okay, so why did I suddenly get... Yeah, I must have moved the dates. Okay, Saturn. So the moon was in Gemini. The moon was in Gemini, but probably when the crash happened, we had moon and Saturn conjunct, and we're going to have moon and Saturn conjunct for the 3-6 coming up. Let's go back to now, and we've got, so I mean, this is huge, all the planets grouped together here, Jupiter and Uranus, all the planets grouped together, everybody, and just South Node on the other side of the chart with all the planets. So all these planets in the home of Saturn. Mars rules Scorpio. Mars is exalted. The moon is in detriment today, making, and then we've got Jupiter. So Mars rules Aries, Mars rules Scorpio, and we've got Mars exalted. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. This build-up, Pale Stein is a beer and Einstein is a stone, because Israel and Pale Stein is the same story. It's your Sol O Mon Sun Moon merging to find your Stein, third eye, or turn to stone. 3 pale ale, This is the brew, this is the beer. The pal of Allah Stein stone means from the genie, from the lamp. Israel is the bulb, and Pale Stien is the spirit from ALGOL, alcohol. 20th of April, Hitler's birthday. D-Day is the day Jupiter Uranus are conjunct to the Pierre STONE, to ALGOL. This is the opening of the Genie in pre-Islamic Arabia. Jinn or Djinn were spirits that were both feared and admired. Jinn-inspired poets controlled the weather and caused the fields to produce crops. The Quran depicts Jinn as spirits that are neither good nor evil, but can choose their actions. There is no need to discuss the effects of alcohol at length. Its very name in Arabic, the same as the ALGOL star, which represents the head of Medusa, cut off by Perseus, simply means the demon. So Mars is Perseus, and Venus is the story of Medusa. So, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and we're soon going to have Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And that it is in fact a demon or malefic spirit when it possesses a human being. It is clear and easily demonstrable in its effects, from drunkenness to delirium, tremens and madness, with forms of paralysis and other hereditary defects passed down through descendants. Einsteinium is a synthetic chemical element. It has symbol S and atomic number 99. So I've been talking about the 99 red balloons. 99 is just 96, yin and yang, or 96 or 69. It is the PP or the BB or the DD even. Einsteinium is a member of the, and it's your Peter Pan, it's the PP. Einsteinium is a member of the actinide series, and it is the 7th transuranium element. It was named in honor of Albert Einstein. So this is Palestine, Einsteinium. This is the build-up. This all being timed exactly with the brewing of the ale, the pale, the ale, pal, Allah Stein is stone. Einsteinium was discovered as a component of the debris of the first hydrogen bomb explosion in 1952. That's the year of the dragon, 1952, the metal dragon. Its most common isotope, Asteinium-253, half-life 2047 days, is produced artificially from decay of Californium-253 in a few dedicated high-power nuclear reactors, or the total yield of the order of 1 milligram per year. The reactor synthesis is followed by a complex process of separating Einsteinium-253 from other actinides and products of their decay. Other isotopes are synthesized in various laboratories, but in much smaller amounts, by bombarding heavy actinide elements with light ions. Due to the small amounts of produced Einsteinium and the short half-life of its most common isotope, there are no practical applications for it except basic scientific research. In particular, Einsteinium was used to synthesize for the first time 17 atoms of the new element mendelevium in 1955. So it carries on. I'm not going to read all that right now. Einsteinium, soft silvery, like also in the annals of history, when the echoes of time reverberate with stories of civilizations, Sumerians emerge as pioneers of an old age tradition, the art of brewing, with an alchemical mastery that dates back millennia. The Sumerians crafted sikaru, a barley-based fermented beverage that offers a tantalizing glimpse from the origins of brewing. So here's the witch's brew, goes back to the Sumerians. This Sumerian brew, steeped in the mystic of antiquity, unveils a process of fermentation and flavour that differs from the bold ales, pale, and lagers of the modern era. So the alchemy, the methods, so this is all about that. I'm going to put all this in my newsletter afterwards, and we'll look at the pictures as well. So I've been showing you the pictures of the pipe. The pipe in French is a BJ, a blowjob. I showed you the French, the two famous Frenchmen, José Bové, JB, again, BJ, JB. So Einstein with his pipe, from the artist Marguerite, ceci n'est pas une pipe, or in the time of the daisies at the moment, Marguerite. So this beer is called Einstein, a stone. Einstein, Douglas Stone, they keep playing on it, showing us. Einstein, the stone, this is the philosopher's stone, this is the brewing, this is where we are now with this coming up of this conjunction. Passivity, suffering, decadence, materialism, and then on the other swing, activity, pleasure, splendor, spiritualism, and the middle, that break-even point is the critical point, comprehension. So this is just the Israel. Here we've got this sulfur, salt, and Mercury, the sun and the moon. It's very important to get Jupiter and Mercury rule the cross, X marks the spot. Where the summer solstice is no longer on Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Mercury's got no more place. We're no longer there. Venus now takes over because the summer solstice is on Taurus. Venus rules Taurus, Mars rules Scorpio. Mars rules Aries, and Venus rules Libra on the masculine high cardinal and on the feminine Venus, Mars. We always have Saturn opposite either the sun, Leo is ruled by the sun, and Saturn on the feminine axis is opposite the moon. So there's always that connection between the sun and the moon, the solar plexus, and Saturn. There's always that either, these are why we have such enormous experiences with our parents, and there's such dramatic stories, is because it is our ability to get out of the flesh, Saturn, from leads to spirit, to gold, whatever, it is, can you get out of the parental guidance, and can you make that difference between private Cancer and public, the incarnation trap and the identity trap. Leo, Aquarius is about identity. This is about your rate of exchange. Taurus, Scorpio, and Aries, Libra is about me and you, I am, you are, being either an autocrat or a diplomat, being able to share, being able to be, to find yourself, find your I am. So it really is just Saturn, Sun, Moon, Mars and Venus, war and peace, and then Jupiter and Mercury. That's why that air crash, we've got Jupiter and Mercury conjunct and Mercury retrograde in the true air, Saturn, Father Air. This will all go into my newsletter. It is a long explanation between today and between I go up to the end of March. So I'll take you through the pictures now. We're going in different orders. So I've got a false information going on here. Alcohol, ALGOL. Alcohol is said to have come from the Arabic term alcohol and ALGOL, which is ALGOL. So this is probably a little bit, I'm not sure what's going on, I just put that, which means body eating spirit. Perhaps this is why alcoholic drinks are called spirits and booze drinking alcohol is one of the fastest things you can do to lower your vibration, as it's been used as a tool to keep human consciousness at a lowered state for thousands of years. This is coming back to all the Ghostbusters, the parasites, the aliens. We've got ALGOL, this is the spirits, the demon stars. So there it is on Hitler's birthday, Jupiter and Uranus, right under ALGOL in Aries. In Aries, that is, you know, the spirit, the fire, the Bunsen burner. You would not get that same if they were in Taurus. It's over here, so all the mainstream are not at all. I mean, this is what the whole Israel is. Israel. This is when you light your lights through the brewery of the ale of Allah Stein, the philosopher's stone. So we're at that passage. This is today's chart. So we've got Mercury, Sun and Saturn working with Jupiter and Uranus, not completely conjunct yet, in Aries. And here is the moon on ALGOL making a big square to the Sun, Saturn. So Sun and Saturn, we've got the two rulers of this axis. The Sun is considered in full, which is, you know, giving a darker energy. You've got this is Apollo, we've got the Dauphin, the air, and then Mars and Venus working together in a very strong square to Jupiter and to Uranus. So, you know, head pain, ringing in the ears, much more sensitive with this big square going on. This is the Ukraine at the same time. We've got the Ukraine and we've got the Putin horizon. Mars and Venus rule the horizon, the Putin, and they are making this big square to the Khan, the Ukraine, the Khan, Aries, the heads. Okay, there's the dragon, there's Medusa, there's ALGOL, it's your spirits, the Ghostbusters. This is like the teapot, it's the lamp, it's the genie, it's the Djinn, Mars and Venus, and the genie coming out from ALGOL. And you're not meant to worship the genie, you're meant to, you know, this is we got Mercury with Saturn and the Sun. Are you bringing up a genie, or are you, you know, how are you, what are you bringing up at the moment? Are you bringing up a subconscious, unconscious demons, or are you fully becoming conscious? So this is the new moon we're going to be looking at, the 10th of March coming up. We're going to come back, so it's in Aquarius. It's in Aquarius, and we will still then have both Mars and Venus still making a square to Jupiter and Uranus, these guys getting closer, and by then we will have the moon and the sun, new moon in Aquarius, but conjunct Neptune and Mercury. Let's go to see that. So here they are. And we move. So 6 is going to be a big day. We're going to have all the planets between Sagittarius and Aries, fire, and the moon right under Altair, and that last phase before the next 4 days later we're going to have the new moon. So the moon in Jupiter's home, we've already got 369 today, the 3, the 6, and then we've got Women's Day on the 8th. We're going to have the moon conjunct to Venus. Venus will just still be in Capricorn, and Mercury will then be in Pisces. Mercury enters Pisces on the 6th, between the 6th and the 7th. And then on the 7th, that 37, that Vesica Pisces, 3773 is the Vesica Pisces. That's why Prince Charles was 37 when he was to become the king. He's now 73. He's now 75. He was 73. So yeah, it's 3773. 37 degrees is the film Betty Blue. So then on the 9th, we've got the sun is just still in Aquarius. Sun moves in on 3/11. There we've got Saturn and the moon conjunct, and Venus just still in Capricorn. On the 10th, Venus has entered into Aquarius for the new moon. And Mercury on the... This is what I was explaining last time about Jonna. We've got the messenger, and Mercury will be going retrograde at the end of March, back over the V for victory of the Vesica Pisces. So Jupiter, the ruler, now he is in Mars, ruling this energy of his little Mercury going backwards. This is Batman, Jupiter, and Mercury is Robin. Sherlock Holmes, Jupiter, and Watson, little Mercury, the little logic asking the questions whilst the hero is busy saving the world. So his little thinking Mercury is in detriment and in fall. He's debilitated. He's in detriment, Mercury. It's the drowning. This is the submarine. This is, the air and the water. Saturn and Mars is still, so all the planets just then between Capricorn and Aries. We've got the South Node opposite, making an opposition now for the 10th. There it is, all by itself. South Node in Virgo, opposite North Node and Chiron. And that is where we're going to be having the eclipses, right there. So then we've got on 3/11, we've got the moon conjunct to Mercury on the tail, and we have the North Node, the head of the snake, the head of the dragon here as well. 13. Then we're going to have Moon and Uranus conjunct for Pi Day, 3/14. That's Pi, the life of Pi, and Mercury is still moving forwards. Let's go back to the images. So here's Genie. It's Alice going through the looking glass, and then the 17th of March we have a quarter moon. So moon on the wand of Merlin, making a square to the sun and Neptune. Now the sun is just entering Pisces, so the sun enters Pisces on the 11th. So it's still in Aquarius. So it does just enter later on that 11th. So it enters on the 12th. Okay. I'm not sure why I saw 3/11 yesterday, but it's pretty much in Pisces on 3/11. And then 17 for this quarter moon. So we've now got a square from the new moon that we had in Aquarius. And we've got the moon right on the wand of Merlin. So there's something going on with them telling us about that plane crash in Hermonville. And there's something about that name, Hermonville. They have Parc Asterix in that area. They've got Parc Asterix. Parc Asterix is all where, well, it is in that forest of Hermonville. Where's Parc Asterix? Parc Asterix, Hermonville. Hermonville. Parc Asterix. So there must be a new Parc Asterix. Anyway, it is in that forest. So there we go. Forest of Hermonville, Parc Asterix. We've got L'Oise, so it's all in Senlis. So 3 forests. Hermonville, there is the forest, and there is Parc Asterix. So Parc Asterix. Oh, images. Parc Asterix, if you don't know. So there, it's, you know, the big, this is just little Mercury, Hermes. So Mercury and, you know, the big strong man with his horns is Taurus. And we're going to have the moon right in between them both, between Gemini, and so Mercury rules Gemini, Venus rules Taurus, and we've got Venus coming up to be completely conjunct to Saturn, and that is going to be on 3/21. We've got conjunction of Venus, and then we're going to have the moon back here, and we're going to have Mercury right in the V, and then we'll be coming up to the next, coming up to the eclipse. So this is the first big eclipse. We've got a lunar eclipse, moon in Virgo, sun in Pisces, and that is what I go into deeply in my you'll be getting it all in the newsletter. So let's just finish these pictures. So it's a little bit like Aladdin, the teapot. That's the constellation of Sagittarius. And then this is the eclipse. So the eclipse, we've got a finger of God, a yod pointing to the south node. We've got Jupiter and Uranus almost completely conjunct. That's going to be right on ALGOL. We've got Saturn and Venus conjunct. So for the 25th, Saturn and Venus. Looks like and be completely conjunct on the 21st. Pluto making a sextile to the moon and a semi-sextile to Mars in Aquarius now. So this time we're going to have Mars and Venus on each side of Saturn. So that is like the merging of male and female, androgynous, and pointing to the fertility of Virgo, the south node, with Uranus and Jupiter in Aries, and then Neptune, Sun, north node, Chiron, and Mercury all together. So, I mean, just look at that lineup of the planets just here. So Saturn rules Capricorn, Aquarius, Mars rules Aries, and we've got Venus conjunct, and then Venus will move into Pisces, where Venus is exalted. So a little bit of what I was saying in here. Mars and Venus conjunct in Capricorn and making a square. Yep, so we've just seen that. This is the essence of the whole build-up we are currently living. Israel is simply the merging of Mars is Scorpio and Ra, Mars, Aries, to make El, the lamb, and that is what we have in Aquarius, Father Air, with Mercury, the messenger himself, conjunct Saturn, and Sun making a square to Moon in Scorpio. That's today. That is Medusa turned to stone, Stein, Pal, Allah, Stein, Pale, Ale, Stein is a brew, an alchemical merging that will be the birth of the new Einstein, born from this free Palestine, free the spirits. Is simply the ability to open your third eye or summon the genie of your inner spirit or your inner fears and parasites from the pits of the demons that dwell in the depths of the human unconsciousness. Okay, so we're not going to go through all that. Everything is prepper for retrograde of Mercury from the 31st of March leading to April the 8th solar eclipse. Then Hitler's birthday, 20th of April, total conjunction of Jupiter Uranus under ALGOL is the release of the genie. What genie do you choose to release? Free, pale, ale, Stein, the philosopher's stone, the word, the sword in the stone, the word in the tone is released. What type of pop, big bang will cause the explosion coming? It's an inside job to see that the whole world stage is about this alchemical process of releasing or transcending the beast within. So have we been through those pictures? I think we have. We're going to move backwards now from the last video. So the last video we covered that 19th of February. And I will probably be stopping my video. So these are the little pictures you get now in your natal charts of you. So you get almost 2 pages written feedback, your 2-3 hour video. That's in the long version natal. I do a short version now as well. €80, 1 hour. Okay, so this was the 20th of February. We had the breast of Venus in the sky, and it was right on Pollux and Castor. So the 20th, there we had the moon, so feeding Romulus and Remus. We had the breast of Venus. The sky was, we were completely chem-bombed out. And you will notice that the breast of Venus will pop up when we've got the moon in the twins to feed from the Louvre. Chemical brothers, Chem-bomb, nipple of Venus, moon on PC, Pollux, Castor, twins, Romulus, Remus, She-Wolf, Louvre. And we have Vesta on the breast of Venus, bullseye. Aldebaran, Taurus, and Venus, Mars, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, Inanna, opposite Cancer, moon. It's a chemical ring. Okay, so these are just those pictures. So there was Vesta. That was then another picture we can see as Vesta was there too, right on Aldebaran. Vesta is the Virgo nurturing. I wouldn't be surprised if that was really that, to celebrate Vesta. The goddess of fertility and agriculture. Okay, so that was the waxing gibbous moon that we had. So that's just a picture of, we've got Mary from Oz and Frederic from Denmark. So Oz is a play on next to where I live, and this is where he comes from. The town Eos, water, Oz, the last Oz. Okay, then I didn't even look into it, but everyone was posting about Julian Assange. So, yup, false prophets, idols, people cannot see further than their big toe. They want saviors. Oz, Iris, is the eye in the skull. Appy, Pierre, the Stein of the B13 holder. It's the Rumpelstiltskin gnome that sits at the top of your medulla skull. You have to guess his name, otherwise he takes creation, childbirth as his. He is X closing of mutable cross meets at the horizon vertical, Hor Putin, hormonalizer on your crane. So, you know, this is Eliza. Here she is. Villa Cotteret. This is all next to Hermonenville. Between where the armistice was signed between the Aisne, l'Aisne and l'Oise, which is exactly where I lived. Osiris is the god of fertility, agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life and vegetation in ancient Egyptian religion. So this is pretty big, Vesta. Vesta being in Taurus. Oh, go away. Right. She is in Taurus. Yeah. Okay, let's have a quick look at these pictures. So people have been talking about him, so he must be something going on with him. Osiris, there is Rumpelstiltskin, the medulla. Put this and this together, you get Rumpelstiltskin, you get the gnome. There he is. We've covered all that in my last videos. Isra, Osiris, Isra, Mars rules, and you get the little Rumpelstiltskin. This is exactly where we are. Between Aries, I am, and Taurus, we've got you open your third eye. X marks the spot. Aleph Tav, tribe of Dan. And that is what we've got for the eclipse coming up now. We have the Aleph and the Tav, the first and the last, the two eclipses. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the first and the last. Then the Lord God said, behold, the man has become like one of us in knowing good and evil now, lest he reach out his hand. So that it just means they come to the end of the mutable cross. So you are now aware of mutable, adaptable, bipolar energy. Now lest he reach out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him out from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he was taken. So it's what's going on now. Everyone's talking about land. It's all about farmers. It's all about agriculture. We've got Uranus entering Taurus exactly as Uranus did in 1940. Skull and Bones 322. Right. This was a good little picture. The power of the birth time, the revolving doors, the cycles of the sound frequencies of time give you your hamster wheel experience. Connected by DNA strings, you are a direct descendant in line and you ascend to your purpose or not. You are on the record to the music, to your physical soul that comes from the whole. You enter and leave to be a part of the bigger orchestra playing. You have a small role as the pastry or the patsy to the eye and the pie. You are a slice from the roll rolled out. You are but a glimpse of the whole, an individual drop that is discovering the whole in a drop. A picture framed. We can see who you are by the snapshot in the sky of your entry, time, date and place. The why, who, what, when of the precise experience you are searching and the connection to your past and future, because you came in during a song that was already playing. You are connected to the past and future to experience the generational game. That just activated that little picture. I've been thinking about the film 1984, same year as Ghostbusters, Madison, the name of the Miss America, MM. We've got, this is the scene of Madison the Mermaid at Macy's, MM. So very much what we've got going on with Mercury retrograde over the tail, and this Neptune and the moon and Mercury conjunct on the tail of the whale. And in this scene, they spray water and you see the scales have fishtail come. So, this is like the explosion of the Nephilians, of, of who the true people are. We're going to have some kind of aliens. You'll see we've got what am I saying here? Nimrod. What does it mean to call someone a Nimrod? A foolish or inept person. Slang. A foolish or inept person. Doofus. What an annoying Nimrod he turned out to be. Merlion. Birth of the Dauphin. Eclipses. 25th of March. 8th of April are in the Virgo Pisces axis. Flesh Virgo Amy to Spirit Pisces Winehouse. 36912. Madison Marsh, a 22-year-old second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force. Uh-oh. Yeah, constant fight to talk to my daughter and my grandchildren, and I actually phoned her before making this video, and she wasn't available, but I said that I would be making a video, so it's very difficult to get hold of. She works full-time, and she's now training full-time as well. She's doing her university degree to become a teacher, and she works 8 hours a day looking after autistic children in the school of her children. Okay, so that's done. Like this. If one knows about the evil possibilities within oneself, then one develops a kind of second sight or capacity for getting a whiff of the same thing in other people. To go down into the depth of one's own evil enables one usually to develop the instinctual recognition of corresponding elements in other people. I have one big memory as a child, very young, about 5 years old, lining up my teddy bears, going down to eat something, and thinking when I was going down to eat, when I go back up, I'm going to tell my teddy bears off, and having a massive awakening of observing myself, and why would I, that's my only memory of purposely ever causing harm, or, just that energy. But you have to, you can only observe in others what you are capable of. I'm Pisces, so there are some pretty mad ideas. Pisces can be the most awful and completely unaware of just how awful they are, because it's that massive bipolar swing from the calm sea to the depths of the madness of the unconscious collective. So it can give you the compassion to see in other people, but first you've got to see it in yourself. You've got to be able to see in the depths of that reflection, and then you've got you meet that point, that is Ra-El. You make that point, the meeting of Mars and Venus and the meeting of the sun and the moon. You meet Saturn, Saturn and Jupiter merged. Those are the two fingers, those are the two outer planets, and then you can reach safely Neptune, Uranus, and your subconscious mind, Pluto. I mean, it's all in these three. Mercury is your logic, working with Jupiter, your expansion, your reaching, your growing, your learning. You need these two to adapt and grow. You need your Mars and Venus, and that balance between aggression and harmony and diplomacy and ethical and aesthetic values. Venus, Mars, your basic existence and ego and ability to defend yourself when in danger. And then the Sun, Leo, the Moon, Cancer, and Saturn. Saturn is always protecting. He's there. Saturn is opposite the Moon. Sun and the Moon. Saturn is the true. There will be no need of the Sun and the Moon. But you have to get through that reflection. Mentally strong people do not waste their time with people who don't respect them. They only do kind things for people who are of equal exchange to them. Took me a while to get this, most of my life in fact. Don't ignore the red flags. Once is enough. A joker is a joker, full stop. A joker is anybody that tries to pull your strings in any form or way. They use abuse, lie, and manipulate. Never offer help nor give of your inner worth to someone who does not appreciate you, see you, and has not honoured nor respected your truth. Don't let them belittle you so they may grow off of you. They will suck your identity to the core, make it their own. They are copycats and cowards. They will leave you dry. They take your life force as their own. They want your friendship as a gauge to bondage. You're a bargain to associate their attachment with and to birth their new persona. Born from you, in your eye, they steal your chai, prana, joy of life. They crush your inner child and kill it for fun. Be careful with this eclipse, with who you're with. You know, the eclipse, this is a time to be very focused. Reminds me, in The Magician's Nephew, Jadis, the Wicked Witch. This is exactly like the Jinn and the spirits. She clings on to Diggory and Polly in order to hitch a ride from one world to another. I had the psychic write to me about my mum and saying my mother was asking for my forgiveness, and she was able to bring up, about my rabbit that she killed and all the animals. And but I don't need to have another attachment with the lower self of my mother. I have no problem with my mother. I've completely forgiven her. Be careful of people reaching out to hang on to you. This eclipse is important. It's coming off the mutable cross, and those who can't leave the mutable cross are looking to hang on. It's a time to be, spiritually connected and on your own turf and on your own for this eclipse. It's not something, you don't want to hang around with people for this. So then we had Storm Louis come in on the 23rd of February. So on the 23rd, and there's the moon, bang, in between Leo and Cancer. And we've got, so we had the complete conjunction of Mars and Venus. And we had I'm the King of the Swingers, the jungle VIP. Appy, the bull god, getting excited about this spirit, Algol, the planet of the Abbey, the Pierre, the Stone, the Stein, the Pale Stien, Israel. It's all that has gone on. Israel was created in Palestine when the last time Uranus was leaving Taurus. So we're exactly an alchemical journey of Uranus, and it's all about this ALGOL, spirits, bringing up the ghosts, the ghostbusters, or it's all alchemical. So what was I going on about then? That was I've just worked it out, and so this post was posted 48 hours ago. Trying again now they wouldn't let me share. All about the full moon in Leo. So it was just before the full moon in Leo. So the King of the Swingers, full moon in Leo. Full moon in Leo. So it was on this axis of Saturn and the Sun. So it was about that coming up. It was on the 25th. So we had the moon in Leo, and I think, okay, let's just put that there. Okay, so here is Storm Louis X, marks the spot. Total solar eclipse 8th, hits X in St. Louis. So the middle of that eclipse is in St. Louis, obviously. Law, orage. So orage is a play on orange. orangutan, ginger cats. All over the newspapers at the moment, we've got Francois Hollande, the ex-Prime Minister, Holland, Dutch. It's orange. Orange is the new black. Everything I was saying. And then they bring up the Storm Louis, which is going to be the center of the X marks the spot. Orangutan, ginger cat, goldfinger, moon in Cancer entering Leo. So this was the 23rd. I was talking about the full moon was the 24th of Feb. So it was actually bang on Regulus. Bang on Regulus. Okay, so that's why we've had Tom Cruise, Top Cat. Jaffa is Palestine. Orange, Holland. So all this will be in my newsletter. I spend, you know I'm mad, but I'm a little bit autistic, and I need help. I say it a lot. I've been saying it for years. I need somebody to help me with Patreon or whatever it's called, and I need somebody who can. I just need to sit down and work, but I can. Doing my newsletter takes me 10 hours. And that's just how I am. Things take me a long time, but this is the thing about living here. At least when I was in Paris and I was running my company, I had all my graphist boys. I had young people around who could help me. But where I am now, there's nobody. There's absolutely nobody. So but I will get there. I think about things a lot and then I put it into action. It will happen. So the storm is from, it was coming from Holland, northeast, orange. This is again the path, the same northeast, southwest of this eclipse. So there is something going on from Hermonville. So I'm showing you this map of France is somehow making a copy of America. So Hermonville, there is the forest from northeast, where they filmed Merlin and Arthur, where they've got Park Asterix, that plane crash, and then down to here where I am, the home of D'Artagnan. So, storm crosses Europe, north eclipse, route de D'Artagnan, Cupid, Valentine, masculine axis of the skull and bone cross is orange, red air, Gemini, Mercury, and yellow fire, Sagittarius, Jupiter, or Leo, yellow, and Aquarius, red air makes orange. So Storm Louis swept over the Netherlands on Thursday evening, but caused, so this is from Maastricht, everything I've been talking, Maastricht, the tree was brought down, damaging. So again, the worst damage was all in this area of the D'Artagnan route. So I was very worried about my son, and I phoned him, and he was actually on his way to London to get the award of the play he did just before the Israel war, The White Factory. They have won all the awards in London for the off theatre production. And nobody told me, didn't tell me he was going. It's just because I was worried about him, and I rung, and he was on his way, and it's for the Louis. So then I'm just adding a thing about D'Artagnan. You can read that. So there's Storm Louis, Storm Météo à la Orange, the Roi Soleil. Orange is always Mafia, the Route D'Artagnan. Puss in Boots, the orange cat is D'Artagnan. Got the Holland is the cross. You've got the windmill, the Windsors, it's the cross. It's how does the mutable cross get air? Becomes a windmill, and now we've got those horrible turbulines that are taking off eagles' wings. They're falling dead to the floor. They're wings of the eagle of the true Isis, Scorpio, that should rise. Scorpio should take the MC from Sagittarius, but what have they got? Turbulines and windmills. And so here's Jaffa, here's the beanstalk, here is the mutable cross, and Peter is Pierre the stone. There is Saint Jacques de Compostelle, compost, L standing in the brain and under the Arc de Triomphe, which is just the stone, our medulla in our heads. So that is the path of the totality, and it crosses Louis. There's St. Louis right at X marks at the middle, and we had Storm Louis for that full moon. Leo, the sun gods. And that is what was going on. We had Saturn conjunct to the sun. We had Saturn conjunct to the sun. And the Dauphin, the new king, Mercury, the new heir. Mercury, we got Jupiter in Aries, and Mars and Venus conjunct, Mars exalted in Capricorn. I mean, give me a break. I just look at this and I'm just thinking, I mean, just the enormity of it all. And I have to just stay cool because I know that nobody, just you guys get it, but I mean, nobody else gets it. So that they don't show the whole 8 there, but there are 8. So the Aleph and the Tav, the 3 crosses, and there was the moon. That was on the 23rd, so the moon was not quite completely. So on April the 8th, 7 planets will line up for the Great American Eclipse. Well, they're pretty much all lined up now. 4, 8. So Jupiter, Uranus, Sun, Moon, Venus, Saturn, Mars. So that's where Mars, the ruler of Aries, takes for the eclipse. We've got Saturn teaming up with Mars because Jupiter is in the home Aries conjunct to Uranus under ALGOL to bring up his version of who the Saturn, the king, should be. Venus exalted on the whale's tail conjunct, and the North Node in Pisces, and the Sun and Mercury. Mercury has begun his retrograde. So he begins on the 31st, stationary, and then off. And then we've got the... yeah. Oh, okay. And yeah, we got the skull, Jaffa, the egg. So there's Saturn and Jupiter. The true stone. It's always the fight for the stone. So the rugby men were killed on that plane, it said. A team of rugby men. So as I say to you, there's the tropical and sidereal is the football and the rugby ball. Between the oval, the 2 ways of measuring time. Is King Louis, Roi Soleil, and Palestine is that Jaffa. It's the orange. So, you know, the creation of that orange between red and yellow, and the masculine axis of the mutable cross is that northeast, southwest. So I call my last video odd. I called my last video Odnim, the Rod God Fisherman, Odyssey 2001. And then we get a moon landing called Odyssey Oddy. And I called my video Odnim, Nimrod, Odd, the god, Rod God, the fisherman. And then we've got, for the waxing gibbous moon in Cancer, yeah, obviously, paler shade of white, pale, ale, Stein, and we've got this ridiculous, so the last time again, 50 years or something, so was, oops, I don't want to do that, what's that, February the 29th, 2024, we've got this ridiculous, so yeah, I mean, there was probably loads of stuff I was looking at that moment, but I'll remember when I see other posts. I'll have some more posts on it. Yeah, here she is all over French. JFK, Cutfish, J10, F6. So yeah, dope. Le 16e arrondissement. Between the 7th and the 16th arrondissement is where we've got the Eiffel Tower sits between the 16th and the 7th. Mars, rive gauche and droite, right and left, red pill, yellow pill, blue, red, blue, passive, active, JB, Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus. The umbrella is the eclipse, Jodie Foster. And she epitomizes, you know, Mars and Venus merging for creating this one sex. Okay, so then full moon happening 24th, and on the front news of the papers, for the crap trap to come, today's front page newspaper, 1973 to now, so again, the 50 years, that's 51. Area 51, 1953 is the year of the ox. Moon Odyssey moon landing, first in 50 years, USA. And we've got Ra-El, the big cult leader, as Jupiter is in Aries, Ra, and Mars, Ra, ruler, conjunct Venus is in Capricorn. Ruler Saturn L conjunct Mercury Sun in Aquarius opposite full moon in Leo. So this was all just before the full moon. Moon landing Odin, Odyssey, Nimrod, destruction of Nineveh. Area 51 is the common name of a highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada test and training range, a remote detachment administered by... Okay, so that was the front page. So it's apparently something on Netflix, but you know, it was on the front page. Ra-El, where's is? And this is all where I live again. So he was seeing, you know, here we come. It's the aliens. It's the aliens, and that is the image that they show, like in Odyssey 2001. Of the, and apparently it landed upside down. Nimrod, Venus and Mars, and that is the warning of the destruction of Nineveh and Jonah. And on that same page they say, is the Eiffel Tower really in danger? Well, it's your third eye. So that's what they mean. And look at this image. And look, we've got this. And cloning, human clothing, sex, sex. Why did Raul suddenly come out of the... Why is he come out from being... from being... Why is he suddenly out in the open? 1973, returning to Eden. There were people naked in my field. Well, you know, this is all predicative of what could happen when people start going mad. Lots of jour J going on in the newspapers. So this is another actress who's speaking up against Depardieu, leave God. So jour J, full moon, Mars, Venus. So that was the full moon conjunct in Goat, Capricorn. So Mars and Venus were conjunct in Capricorn, we have the man who played the most famous actor in France, who left France to go and live in Moscow, Moscow. And we've got all the women in France bringing down all the alpha men. You know, they were all, this is all, as I said, like my ex-husband, just no, completely big animals with women. But, you know, that was all I ever knew. I was brought up, and these poor men, they're now all being cast, you know, killed, literally. It's like a manhunt. Judith Godrèche, she's called, Départ de Dieu, Gérald, Gégé. So in French, Gérald is always abbreviated to Gégé, which is Gigi, which is 7-7. Naissance de Gigi. Okay. So that is Judith Godrèche. So the wife of Francois Holland is, I think there's a picture in here of them, is a JG, and I was showing you this summer, they came and filmed where I live about the woman decapitated in the French Revolution. They were filming where I am. So there is the Texas, Paris, Texas, the goats, and Depardieu. Godrèche, so they're telling us we've got a jour J. Jour J is D-Day. That's your Mars and Venus creating the one sex, the Pan, the Mercury. Mars and Venus work conjunct in that triangle of Capricorn right in the center. There is Mr. Umbrella is talking, this is the eclipse. It's also what we've always explained with Lars. I did videos years ago trying to explain all this before Lars came up and did his amazing pictures, but you know, Lars was able to put into pictures what I was trying to explain, that it was like an umbrella, and then we had COVID and we had the first logo, which was that Maltese cross. So look, it's all happening in Texas. And then we had the famous kiss, Mars and Venus. We've got a white and black umbrella. So we've just had as well, we had the horse is a white and black horse and a closed black umbrella. In London, we'll come to that. So there's Mars and Venus under a white umbrella, the merging of one sex. And what's that? That's 3-3. That's Charles and Camilla. That's today. So I haven't looked at the news today, but there's probably something going on. Okay, so then I go deeper into that. The lion lies down with the lamb. Well, that was the eclipse we had on the 24th. On the 24th, 2, 24, 3, 4. So the lamb, and we've got the moon, the lamb. So this is the opposite. This is the, you know, there, the lamb. This is the moon is in Leo, and the sun rules Leo. And the sun is opposite with Mercury and Saturn. The lion lies down with the lamb, lamp, BPPB, Narnia, lamp, Eiffel Tower. Today, full moon in Leo, moon, lamb, Leo, pride. The true thalamus, Aquarius, Fomalhaut. Opposite Leo, Regulus, Acca, Sphinx, Giza, the new horizon, Putin, and the new Ukraine, vertical. So the new, the masculine axis of the fixed cross should be Aquarius that falls onto the AC ascending horizon, and Leo is now on the descendants. And the new Ukraine vertical, the new cross is made, and Venus, Mars merged in the goat, and Mercury, voice, child, lion, king is born. The fate Messiah, Ra-El, needs is. And the twin towers merged as one voice sex. 2 years since the Ukraine war. Yep, so they were saying 2 years since the Ukraine war, that day, to find the 2 DNA tribe of Dan strands. Normally, each cell in the human body has 23 pairs of chromosomes, 46 total chromosomes. Half come from the mother, the other half come from the father. 2 of the chromosomes, the X and the Y chromosome, are called sex chromosomes, and in almost all people, females have 2 X chromosomes. So this is all about the disappearance of the Y of the male, and that was in the newspapers. I've got an article about it that just came a couple of days after this. So you remember that Mars, Venus, and they create, and you just saw on the front of the newspaper they were saying the violet. This is all those pedophile colours and making that one. That's what we see there. Mr. Tumnus, Lucy, and the Eiffel Tower, Narnia, that's the Paris Olympics, the umbrella. William with the lamb. The square, the Philosopher's Stone, the eye, and the squared circle. Isis is killed by Cupid, and Ophiuchus is risen. There's Jonah being swallowed. BB is 1313, or MM. It's the name of the Madison, the new beauty queen. Scorpio should rise as the eagle, take the MC. So Israel, Sol O Mon, the JB pillars. This is exactly where we are, and we've been saying this for a long time, X, and then we were exactly 2 years in the newspapers of the Russia-Ukraine. This is all to make the X marks the spot, to mark this fate moment when we've got between Gemini and Taurus to bring up that galactic gap, the green god of the Aurora Boreas, the whole golden age, dawn, the new age, is to keep us stuck in the Milky Way gap, in the gap, so that there's always, we're meant to get through this gap. And it's being heralded between to keep Sagittarius and Gemini on the summer and winter golden and silver triangle. So you've got the green and the red and the blue. The green is in the middle of the red pill, blue pill. BP 69. Black and whites. And then the Taurus field, the torso field. Why is the green leading the red and the blue? The bear should be on each sides. Vulcan, we've spoken about that. If Mars and Venus merge, then we will be getting this Vulcan planet coming up. So that V, the V for victory, is just Jupiter and Saturn separated, not merged. So again, an eye, pineal gland. And there is the Y meets the X, the Aleph Tav. And they say that there will be no more Y. So orange again is the lion, here's your pride. It's all connected. Holland, orange, D'Artagnan, the Q, and the duck. Got the little duck. Sol O Mon, the temples, and there is François Hollande she's another JG actress who filmed Where I Am, and he just looks like Mr. Penguin, the Penguin Man, with his umbrella. Why did the Penguin Man in Batman, he always had his umbrella. So 2 years on, Ukraine war, 2021, February 2024, and there we've got the V. Yellow and black merging Sagittarius and Capricorn. The lion lies down with the lamb. X chromosomes. That M. So the lamb, the lion. It's a little bit like these three: Mercury, Sun, and Saturn. And that is, as Lavette has always explained, built in Babylon. So in the time of Babylon, when Leo was on the AC, but now we've got Giza, Aquarius, Fomalhaut, which is coming onto the ascendant. That was the full moon, 24th. So the Y chromosome, no more. They're stopping us at X. We've got the 77 is the male and female voice will become one voice. The Martins take the Milky Way and the fertility, and they're Mars and Venus, free Martins. That is your free Martins. That's Taurus turned into the twins. Free Martins is when one of the twins takes on the hormones of the male and looks like a female, comes out as a female, but is with all the hormones of a male and sterile. So normally all people are born female, and at 2 months in the womb, the male is produced, and now we're bringing out women that lose their fertility in the womb. And that's what happened in the Cold War in Russia. They experimented. So I was just looking, what I put up has been taken down. So on the 25th, that's how important today's full moon in Leo. Yellow fire was closed, black umbrella. Right, so we need to find that, because it's been taken off. So it's not a black flag, it's a rain cover, the long guard horse. So what's this? TikTok. I don't have continuous guest. So we want sounds down. It's not a black flag, it's a rain cover. Okay, well that's a closed black umbrella. 2 black horses. So it's showing for me just the importance of that full moon and this marking now of leaving the mutable cross and creating this point where Jupiter can keep a hold of his reign. That's either white and black closes. It's this Pisces Virgo is white black, and we're now coming on to this St. Louis, the full moon on the masculine axis of the mutable cross. So it was posted by somebody called KC. So white, black, Rahu, Ketu in Pisces Virgo, white water, black earth, yin yang, Mars, Venus conjunct in Capricorn, black. Full moon in Leo, Lion, King, Pride, and Saturn opposite, Aquarius, red, air, androgynous, father, air, and Mercury, Sun, conjunct. Mars, Venus, square, Jupiter, okay, we know all that. Algol, spirit, thirst, eye. Yeah, okay. So, somebody post this, which is something I put in one of my very old articles. 10 ways to protect yourself from NLP mind control. You can read that. I'll put it in this is one of my very this is from 2016, when I was writing about everyone now talks about narcissists, and I was actually living the most dangerous part of my life with the person who was killing my animals one by one, and I was writing about it, but I still hadn't completely got it. So that was another very old, everyone loves these old articles, but I feel like I've moved on so much from that. The fifth element to get her, plasma, Victoria Cotton blog. You can go and see that. As always, I say I can no longer correct or do anything. I can open up these articles. Let's open it quickly to show you the fifth element to get her. So I wrote this at about the end of 2015. And, you know, it's amazing how on touch I was. So we've got everything going on now. That orange, Hermes is BPA. This is, you know, I touched on, and look, we've got the chromosomes. Aquila is a constellation in the Milky Way galaxy, the gala of the chromosomes, X and Y, gala XY. Aquila contains the double star one, like, so this is Altair. We're going to have the moon, I said, on 30s, on 3/6, yep, which is a big day. We're going to have the moon under Altair. We're going to have the moon under Altair, and Jupiter the ruler. Yeah, that is, Altair translates as Zing with QQ, okay. So, you know, I don't focus on all the changing sex. I don't care about all that anymore. I was one of the first people talking about it, and I've really grown out of it. There's nothing we can do. So that was in the Orange District, the Bataclan killing, the Kiss played, and this looks exactly like in the fifth element. You've got this big blue octopus in the Rocky Horror Show. And, you know, this is what's going on now. So these old articles, I would spend millions of hours doing. Mona Lisa, the Luciferian agenda. You can come and see, she died at 46. Cran is Ukraine. It's the Cran and the Berry in Dolores. Delore of Gold, the Irish girl. Right. Truth about gender, the third sex. Well, this is very much what's going on now. Phosphorus. What was that? Emerald, the stone of Thoth, Hermes, and divine man. So you can go and see those old articles. That's from 2015. It's the end of 2015-16. The fifth element to get her. Then we had European leaders to gather in Paris. So yeah, we had everybody came to France for the victory, for the V for victory, 6 days ago. The New Horizon, everyone was there to bolster Ukraine at critical moment. Okay, so we're right there. This is, somebody pointed out this film coming out the day the Earth blew up. Alien plot to take over the Earth via mind control. Okay. And then Lord Jacob Rothschild dies at 87. So this is LJ, Justice League, LJL cut. In movies, you get the cut. It's the ladder between the tracing boards and the pillar. It's, so what did I say? 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. 216, summer solstice is no longer in Gemini, red Roth, but in black Taurus. Orange is the new black. As King Louis' sun child is born. Dauphin, Mercury, Saturn, Sun conjunct in true air, Aquarius, red air. Sun was in Aquarius, red, opposite full moon in Yip. So this was all full moon stuff going on. And 26 moon in Virgo, whore of Babylon, black earth ruled by Mercury's Gemini. She is La Marianne, back to black, BBMM 13. Full moon was in yellow fire. Okay, Justice League, jail cut, Jacob's Ladder, 8769. He died at 87, which is the 6 and the 9 again. At that point, so 45 years ago, a total solar eclipse struck at Stonehenge, and it happens again in the US in 42 days. Okay, I said I would explain it, did I? So in 42 days, so we're at that 4224, which is the Jupiter. Oh no, what's going on? Okay, well I can't open it, so forget that. But you can go and look what was going on in the sky 45 years ago. Again, that's more about the moon, the lander, I agree. It's been 4 days since the first private moon landing took place. So privates, it's always about private public. They're always talking about private public. In France, everything is public. In England, everything is private. It's Cancer, Capricorn, Saturn, Moon. On February the 26th, Intuitive Machines announced on X, formerly Twitter, that Odysseus is still communicating with ground control, despite having gently tipped over on its side after a bit of wonky lunar touchdown. Willy Wonka, better yet, Odysseus managed to send back a pair of images from the moon. One was taken as it approached its landing site, dubbed Malapart A. It would also appear that Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which has been scanning the moon from lunar orbit since 2009. Okay, well, that's just all too ridiculous for words. The Y chromosome is vanishing. A new sex gene may be the future of men. Okay, bingo. And then we come back to what I showed you in the beginning. And this was my son and them getting their awards in London. There's Macron dancing, and that was, yeah, ABS, APS, abracadabra, appy time. Like other bull deities, Apis was probably at first a fertility god concerned with the propagation of grain and herds, but he came associated with Ptah, the paramount deity of the Memphite area, and also with Osiris as user Api and Socaris, gods of the dead and of the underworld. Api, the androgynous Egyptian god of fertility. So this post, somebody is just saying, in the past 2 months, King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. Kate Middleton has had Abby abdominal surgery. Sarah, Duchess of York, was diagnosed with skin cancer. Prince Edward is stepping back from royal duties. Thomas Kingston, who married into the British, has died suddenly. Jacob Rothschild died. King of Norway rushed to hospital with Pope Francis rushed to. Queen of Denmark announced shock. 2 black horses were spotted with a captured white horse and a black flag outside Buckingham Palace. Okie dokie. Right, so I think that we have come to an end. So these are fighter planes. I never managed to catch them. My house so low. We have Mont de Marsan, so we've got the training bases and the helicopter bases, and we're back to where I began, and this I'm going to be putting in the newsletter now. Okay, so not too bad, 1 hour and a half, and let's go back to now to end. So no, that's 3-6. We don't want 3-6. So today, right now, we have got Mercury preparing for this entry into Pisces from the eclipse from the 8th of April. That will announce the 40 days warning that Jonah gives. So Jonah is coming into the way. He will make his warning when he's going retrograde on the 8th. So it's very much Mercury's journey now. And then we will have 40 days until the Pentecost. That's you, Punky. I can hear you. Okay. So we'll be covering that the next time. What else can I say to you? Nothing. I'm fully booked until I think it's the 20th till the 22nd of March. But you can come and book. I'm very happy to be having lots of readings on my own. All kinds of, I love doing departure charts, psychic readings, anything you want to know, anything you want to ask. They're easy readings. I do it on my own. It's 1 hour long, so they're €80. I'll leave a link to my site. And I'm sending you all my love, darlings. And just remember that this is really the whole Palestine, Israel is all being prepared for this time. This is the absolute alchemical merging coming up now. There they are for this 2024. I put before 24 is the absolute merging. Or is it, what have we got? 20, the day Hitler's birthday, looks a little bit more of the merging, but that is right on ALGOL. Okay, lots of love. Bye for now.